In the year 1798, Napoleon Bonaparte, a rising star in the French military, sets his sights on Egypt. His ambitions are as vast as the desert sands, disrupting British trade routes, establishing French influence in the region, and indulging in a dash of scientific exploration of ancient Egyptian wonders. However, his path to glory is not paved with sun-baked bricks. Standing in his way were the Mamluks, a formidable force that would rewrite the first chapter of Napoleon's Egyptian campaign. The Mamluks were a fascinating anomaly, a product of a unique historical process. Originally young men captured from surrounding regions, they were trained as elite cavalry fighters. Through skill and ruthlessness, the Mamluks ascended the ranks, eventually becoming the dominant power in Egypt. Clad in distinctive garb and wielding curved scimitars, the Mamluks were a force to be reckoned with. They ruled Egypt for centuries, a warrior class living a life of luxury and wielding immense power. Their horsemanship was legendary, their charges a whirlwind of steel and fury that had scattered many an enemy. The Mamluks weren't just fearsome warriors, they were also strategic defenders. For centuries, they acted as a bulwark against foreign invasions. The Crusaders, those ambitious European knights seeking a foothold in the Holy Land, faced the Mamluks' growing power throughout the 13th and 14th centuries. In a series of clashes, the Mamluks' superior cavalry tactics and leadership helped to gradually push back Crusader influence in the region. Their prowess wasn't limited to the Crusaders. The Mongols, a terrifying force that had swept across Asia and Europe, also faced the Mamluks' might. The iconic Battle of Ain Jalut in 1260, however, was a decisive victory against the Mongols. The Mamluk cavalry, utilizing hit-and-run tactics and flanking maneuvers, inflicted a crushing defeat on the mighty Mongol army. This victory not only protected Egypt, but also helped to halt the westward Mongol expansion. Even the fearsome Timurid conqueror Tamerlane recognized the Mamluks' formidable might. Though he did clash with them on occasion, he often opted for diplomacy or skirmishes, avoiding a full-blown confrontation. The Mamluks were known for being a force to be reckoned with, even by the most ruthless conquerors. However, the Ottomans, another rising power in the region, studied the Mamluks' strengths and weaknesses. They recognized the Mamluks' reliance on traditional cavalry tactics and their internal political rivalries. In the early 16th century, the Ottomans employed a cunning strategy. They sowed discord among the Mamluk ranks, exploiting internal divisions. Additionally, they utilized superior firepower, including gunpowder-based weaponry, which the Mamluks were slower to adopt. This two-pronged approach, exploiting internal weaknesses and wielding technological advancements, ultimately led to the Mamluks' defeat at the hands of the Ottomans in 1517. One might think the Mamluk story ended with their defeat by the Ottomans. However, the reality was more complex. While their reign as the independent sultans of Egypt came to an end, the Mamluks, as a military class, remained remarkably resilient. They were incorporated into the Ottoman power structure, albeit in a diminished role. For the next few centuries, the Mamluks served as provincial governors, tax collectors, and even high-ranking officials within the Ottoman Empire. Though their power was curbed, their influence in Egyptian society remained significant. This uneasy coexistence continued until the arrival of Napoleon Bonaparte in 1798. The French invasion of Egypt presented a new challenge for both the Ottomans and the Mamluks, while Napoleon, seeking to disrupt British trade routes and establish French dominance in the region, hoped to win over the Mamluks. This gamble, as we shall see, would have unforeseen consequences. Napoleon, ever the strategist, wouldn't underestimate his foe. The inevitable clash came at the Battle of the Pyramids on July 21, 1798. Here, under the watchful gaze of the ancient monuments, a spectacle unlike any other unfolded. The French army of 25,000, hardened veterans of European campaigns, faced a larger Mamluk force of roughly 28,000. The Mamluks, confident in their cavalry prowess, launched a thunderous charge. The earth trembled, dust rose in a choking cloud, and the French squares, a revolutionary tactic employing concentrated musket fire and flanking maneuvers, braced themselves for impact. What followed was a brutal ballet of death. The Mamluk charges, though fearsome, faltered against the withering French volleys and the well-timed advances of French infantry. The battle was a decisive victory for Napoleon, shattering the myth of Mamluk invincibility and leaving the sands stained crimson. One might expect the Mamluks to be utterly subdued. But these were men of resilience. The conflict wasn't confined to the vicinity of the pyramids. In Upper Egypt, General Desay led French forces against Mamluk resistance. Victories were secured at Samnud and Aswan, showcasing French military prowess. However, these triumphs came at a cost. The French flotilla near Kena fell victim to a brutal Ottoman attack, resulting in a massacre of all French personnel on board. This event, known as the Massacre of Chena, underscored the complexities of the regional power struggle. Despite setbacks, the French campaign continued in Upper Egypt. General Belliard's forces managed to overpower Mamluk resistance at Abnud. This victory proved the effectiveness of French tactics against Mamluk cavalry charges, recognizing the potential for further reinforcements from the Ottomans and the British. Belliard also secured the Red Sea port of Qusayr. This strategic move aimed to disrupt potential supply lines and troop movements. With the Egyptian campaign stagnating and political turmoil brewing back in France, Napoleon made a critical decision. In August 1799, he secretly departed Egypt, leaving General Kleber in charge. This unexpected move left the French forces in a precarious position, unsure of their future and facing continued Mamluk resistance. The story of the Mamluks in Napoleon's Egyptian campaign extends beyond the sands of Egypt. A curious footnote to history emerged when Napoleon incorporated some Mamluks into his personal guard, forming a unique unit within the French imperial army. These Mamluks, survivors of the power struggles and battles in Egypt, found themselves serving the very man who had conquered their homeland. Their inclusion was likely a calculated move by Napoleon. Their distinctive attire and horsemanship offered a touch of the exotic, adding a theatrical flair to his growing empire. Additionally, their combat skills were undeniable, and their loyalty, once secured, could be unwavering. The Mamluks who served in the French imperial army were likely a small contingent, but their presence caused a stir. European onlookers marveled at their appearance and writing skills. However, their integration wasn't without challenges. Cultural differences and language barriers undoubtedly posed obstacles. Additionally, some within Napoleon's ranks may have viewed them with suspicion, considering their past allegiance. Despite these hurdles, the Mamluks serving in Napoleon's guard persevered. They followed him on campaigns across Europe, witnessing the triumphs and tribulations that shaped Napoleonic history. Their presence served as a living reminder of Napoleon's Egyptian exploits, a testament to his ambition and the far-reaching consequences of his campaigns. Amid this complex web of power struggles, a fascinating story emerges, that of Rustam Raza, a Mamluk who carved out a unique space for himself. Captured as a child and sold into slavery, Rustam eventually found himself in Egypt and rose through the ranks of the Mamluks. In 1799, fate intervened. Rustam caught Napoleon's eye and became his personal attendant, a trusted confidant responsible for his safety and well-being. Rustam's story exemplifies the complexities of the Mamluk-Napoleon relationship. Yet, their bond endured. He served Napoleon faithfully for over 15 years, following him on campaigns across Europe and even to exile. The sands of Egypt hold a wealth of stories, whispers of empires past, and echoes of clashing ambitions. The encounter between Napoleon and the Mamluks is but one chapter in this grand narrative. It's a tale of resilience, of warriors clinging to power in a changing world, and of a rising star whose meteoric trajectory forever altered the course of history.